Will go into me in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good morning, good afternoon, and good whatever time it is, and welcome to another episode of Trevantine, the podcast in which you get to hear the thoughts, feelings, and emotions of an 18-year-old senior in high school being affected by the coronavirus. This is the podcast where we have 3 segments. 1, how Corona is affecting us. 2, what are the national headlines for today regarding Corona. And 3, what I am doing today and what I was doing yesterday. So I'm going to switch up the order of the show a little bit. My guest is running a little bit behind. Perfectly fine. So we'll just go straight into, We'll go straight into today's headlines. So going straight into it. First headline we have from the New York Times as of 30 minutes ago says Trump says he will suspend immigration but provide few details about the plan. President Trump's late night announcement on Twitter that he plans to temporarily suspend immigration into the United States could dramatically reduce the number of people from foreign countries who can come to America to join family members and accept job opportunities. While the White House has provided few details, the idea is an attempt to reduce competition for jobs as stores slowly reopen, as an attempt to bring up the economy. Definitely an interesting approach Donald Trump has when it comes to re-stimulating the economy. I understand the idea of helping your people first. This is from the New York Times, so you can see where those the stats and the little like jabs at the president come from. Next headline we have is that the record oil market collapse is continuing. Stock market on Wall Street has fell for the second day as the global markets retreat and oil prices continue their record slide. The S&P 500 dropped about 1.7% early trading on Tuesday, adding a nearly 2% drop on Monday. Major European markets were 1% to 3% lower after similar declines in Asia. With few plans left in stores, all the crude oil in the world is producing, oil prices have collapsed. On Monday, the price of one oil benchmark dipped below zero for the first time, meaning that some holders were ready to pay people to take barrels off their hands. If it was me and I had a place to store a bunch of crude oil, I don't know, free money and free oil, good idea, you can resell it later too. While quirks in how oil is traded accounted for the negative price, it also reflected the low global demand for fuel right now, signaling predictions that much of the world's economy would remain frozen for some time. Definitely something very interesting when it comes to the world and the global market, especially when we're paying people to take oil off their hands. Additional small business aid won't pass in Congress until Thursday at the earliest. The final approval of an agreement to replenish a loan program for small businesses will not occur until at least Thursday, as negotiations struggle through the night of Monday to resolve the final details of what is most likely a $500 billion aid relief package for small businesses, hospitals, and testing. Definitely something intriguing to see. You would think that would be one of the first priorities to get done, but I mean, there's so much discourse whenever it comes to where the money's going, who's going to get the money, and then what else is going on. Georgia mayors urge residents to ignore governor's decision to ease stay-at-home restrictions in a decision that has drawn criticism from the public health experts and business owners. Governors in several states across the South and West have decided to relax stay-at-home orders and allow for some businesses to reopen. Governor Brian Kemp of Georgia said on Monday that he was joining the governors of several other states, including Tennessee, South Carolina, and Ohio, in moving in that direction, despite the warning that the coronavirus has leveled off enough to ease restrictions to impose the curb of its spread. The mayors of Georgia's largest cities were among those pushing back, with businesses including gyms, hair and nail salons, bowling alleys, and tattoo parlors being allowed to open to operation on Friday. Atlanta's Mayor Keisha Lance Bottom urged residents to ignore Mr. Kemp's order and stay at home, relying on her bully pulpit as mayor because she has said that she has not had the authority to supersede the governor's decision inside city limits. Definitely an intriguing thing, especially whenever you have your governor saying one thing and your mayor saying another thing. In my opinion, I don't think it's quite time to ease off stay-at-home orders, but that's just me. Senate Democrats answer about why Trump's name will be on the stimulus check. Says Senate Democrats have opened a formal inquiry into the decision to put Mr. Trump's name on the economic stimulus checks, as speculation that the move might delay payments to millions of Americans. No president's name has ever appeared on the disbursement from the IRS. Definitely something interesting. Donald Trump wants to put his name on all the checks going out and just the memo line, but a lot of these Democrats don't want him to have his name on the check. So, something interesting. But another interesting counterpoint is that no president ever has had their name on the check, so why should he? With testing the spotlight, Trump and Cuomo will meet at the White House, says Mr. Trump and Governor Andrew M. Cuomo of New York will meet Tuesday afternoon in Washington in a rare face-to-face session with two leaders whose relations during the crisis has been alternatively agnostic and conciliatory. Mr. Cuomo said on Tuesday that he expects the meeting to focus on testing issues and the role of the federal government and states in the screening. This is one of those thankless tasks, said Mr. Cuomo, who added that officials were faced with a situation where you need everyone to work together and need to understand quickly who is in a better position to do what. The Oval Office meeting, which Donald Trump said on Monday that the governor had requested, will come hours after Cuomo announced 481 more fatalities in New York, significantly below the single-day death toll of the previous week. It has brought the state's official death toll to at least 14,828, but Monday's hospitalization were basically flat, and Mr. Cuomo said on Tuesday that the number of incubations have declined. That is really all the headlines we have for today. Something interesting. Fan comment from Zach Klug from Health Experts, not a good idea. Yes, I agree with you. Why would we start easing on the stay-at-home orders, and restrictions whenever it's really not time and we really haven't hit that peak yet? On the bright side, you can get money for taking crude oil off these oil distributors' hands. So, that was basically all I have for the headlines today. That was all the headlines from the New York Times. Now we can get to the main part of the show where we get on a Zoom call, allowing me to talk to other people on how the coronavirus is affecting them. Mainly, who I'm talking to right now is just talking about how we've been keeping entertained and what things we've been doing to stay entertained. So, Zach Klug said last week numbers tripled Tuesday to Wednesday in local hospitals. Not good. Obviously, we're not ready for to open up the borders quite yet. But with me in a call, I have broadcasting amigo, ASB fanatic, film fanatic, and cinephile, Mr. Jack Kankiewicz. How are you doing today, man?
Hi, Trevor. Thanks for having me. I'm doing great.
So, how was your shower, buddy?
It was good. Refreshing and woke me up a little bit.
Dude, I just want to comment on your shirt real quick. I have that same exact shirt.
Really?
That'd be crazy.
It's a great shirt. Great minds think alike.
Yeah, exactly. So, do you want to introduce yourself?
Sure. Yeah, I'm Jack Kankiewicz. I am, currently a junior at Liberty North High School. And I want to be a director when I grow up. I love everything cinema, movies, TV shows. Love it all.
Gotcha. At what point did you know you wanted to be a director?
Well, I started getting into film and like making videos and stuff back in 7th grade, I think is when I first made a couple of films or just little short videos and stuff. But it really wasn't until 8th grade that I realized that was something I wanted to do as a passion. Back in middle school, we had a broadcast class similar to KNET, except it was audition only, and I didn't get into that. And that was kind of that was like I was very distraught about that because at that point I had realized that I 100% wanted to be um, doing that for a career, and so I joined a class next door. Um, I joined the student government class next door, and I would like quote unquote go over there to like just check on some stuff, and I would actually make videos for the class.
Oh, so you're sneaky beaky making videos, huh?
Yep, yep. It was quite a time. I ended up we were back then we were using a Sony Vegas movie studio, or I think is something like that what it's called.
Mm-hmm.
So not as good as Adobe Premiere and what they provide us in high school and stuff, but it was enough to get me going, help me do some stuff.
Hey, dude, I used to use Sony Vegas Movie Studio for the longest time. You know, well, I mean, I downloaded a crack version, but hey, you gotta do what you gotta do sometimes.
I feel that. I feel that for sure.
So, okay, I'll just go down the line of questions. What's your favorite movie of all time?
Oh, that's a tough one. That's a tough one. Well, I normally I say um I like a list of movies that fit a like a hundred like just different genres and stuff.
You
But
can
if I
list
could,
them.
okay, okay.
I mean, I don't have
Well,
a
like,
favorite. I have a list too.
okay, cool, cool, cool. Yeah, I feel like, at least in my opinion, in order to be a real cinephile, picking just one movie is too hard for me because there's so many masterpieces out there. Anyways, The Truman Show is up there for sure. When I'm feeling artsy, a little bit artsy fartsy. I liked Knives Out. Knives Out I think was really well written. I like that for screenwriting and just the just the homage to mystery genre and thrillers and stuff like that. I like um I like Step Brothers for a nice raunchy comedy.
Hmm.
Didn't really didn't break any make any groundbreaking things cinema wise, but it's a fun movie. It's timeless. The improv, excuse me, between Will Ferrell and John C. Riley is just iconic in my opinion. I like Wayne's World. um I really liked Avengers Endgame just because I'm a comic geek, and seeing that all come together on the big screen was just beautiful. And I thought it was really well done too. Some of the shots I really liked and stuff. So yeah, that's
Nice.
probably my list or so. Of course, I love other ones too.
That's a solid list, bro. Speaking of like Endgame or just any Avengers movie, when we look back at the 2007 Iron Man, you can see the CGI and how it's like not on par anymore.
Mhm.
Do you think Endgame and movies like that will just look horrible 10 years down the line?
I don't know, actually. I really don't know. I think um that is a really good question. I think as far as CGI goes, I definitely think it'll continue getting better. I'm not sure how much better though, because I believe, I mean, of course, this is biased of the time, but I believe Endgame and CGI in this day and age is really good. I think a couple of ways it could improve, of course, is human CGI, because I feel like even nowadays, sometimes I notice when like I can tell when a human is animated rather than actually live action and stuff. So I bet they can improve on that. But as of effects, like the spaceships and stuff in it, and the like Iron Man and all the armor and like non-human animation goes, I think it's pretty lifelike. I did recently. I've been rewatching all of the MCU movies in order, and I can definitely agree with you that the Iron Man and then Thor and the Incredible Hulk, those ones from back before the 2010s started, were they were great. 100%, I love them, but you can definitely tell the CGI is a little outdated for sure.
Yeah, I definitely do that. That like 2000 what 3 Hulk movie? Oh boy.
Oh yeah, no, I know what you're talking about there.
Yeah. Um So you mentioned CGI will get pretty good, or you hope that it gets pretty good when it comes to humans. Um, we see with like Fast and the Furious 6 or The Irishman that there is a bunch of uh, not beautification. Well, in The Irishman is more beautification to make the actors look younger, or in Fast and the Furious 6 it was to reconstruct Paul Walker.
Yeah.
What could you tell? Have you seen those movies? First question.
I have seen The Irishman. I haven't seen Fast and Furious 6. But are you it's kind of similar to like de-aging, kind of like also like Nick Fury in Captain Marvel and stuff like that is what you're talking about, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Um I could tell just by like because I knew to look out for it, but like when it comes to just like if I was just to watch it coming in like not knowing anything at all, like if if I'd never seen Samuel L. Jackson before and I thought, oh, maybe he's actually this age, I think it was definitely passable for sure. Like I would probably just not bat an eye as much as like I knew it was coming. So I was like, okay, well, I can tell because I was looking for it, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Like with The Irishman, I had no clue that they were doing that. And then, dude, I'm not gonna lie, that got me. I was like, how in the world did they make 76-year-old Joe Pesci look like he's in his 30s again?
Oh yeah, that was really interesting. Um, I've only seen it once, and that was like right when it got on Netflix. But that was interesting. The de aging software in general in Hollywood and just how they use it and stuff has it's really improved. I think it's a cool technique, cool design, and it doesn't like they've mastered it enough to where it doesn't obviously take away um from the like overall story of the film. Um, like I guess this is kind of an example, but like I think was it Justice League or Batman v Superman where they CGI'd where I think I heard a rumor they CG'd who's the actor of Superman again currently? It was
Um, Not Christian Bale. Uh, you said Superman or Batman?
yeah, Superman.
That's why we have the trusty internet in front of us. Cavill.
Henry Cavill, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Cavill.
I heard I guess I still don't know this for a fact, but I heard people saying that like they had CGI'd his mustache out,
Oh.
and they were like, and everybody's like, oh, that's so obvious. You can see the mustache poorly CGI'd, and it's like I didn't notice that. Like, I mean, I don't know if it. Well, once again, I wasn't looking for it, and I don't know if they were looking for it, but like, and yeah, I guess I still don't know if that was just a rumor or not, but I guess that's another
Like
like
Leap.
yeah, I think being able to do that and being able to like correctly CGI stuff like that is I think it's a tool and it's a good skill to have. I don't know how much goes into that, and I'd love to find out someday. But it's definitely something good to have. It opens up your options a little bit. Like if you don't want um, Henry Cavill to have a mustache, then you can just get rid of that. Or if you want Chris Evans to have like in Captain America when he's on the like he's all scrawny and stuff. Like nowadays, I can look back at that and I can study it and I'm like, yes, that's of course you can tell that it's just Chris Evans' head put on like a teenager's body or something like that. But
Mm-hmm.
but like it's passable enough to where to me it doesn't distract from the story or what it's trying to do in the movie.
No, yeah. I mean, it's way better than it was. We can look back to mustache technology back in like the 60s, 70s with like Cesar Romero's Joker. You know what I'm talking about? You can clearly
Oh
see
yeah.
his mustache.
Oh yeah. That's like almost a part of the character now.
Yeah, it's just more comedic at this point. But I think, dude, CGI is gonna go crazy. What are your thoughts on like, I guess the overusage of CGI rather than practical effects nowadays?
I think it's I think like all things, it's good in moderation, but too much is too much. I think like if you're yeah, so if you're Um, I do wish there were more practical effects nowadays, and if I ever, I mean, if I ever end up being able to have access to those resources to make films, I definitely want to kind of rely on some practical effects more than CG. Um, because I think the overusage of CGI kind of just it can at some point take away from the story. Like if it's unnecessary. Trying to think of an example like I don't know. Well, like, so for I guess if you're making a movie that's like it takes place in space or some place that like you can't easily actually go to that location to film. Like if it's on like Guardians of the Galaxy is the example I'm thinking. Like none of that they couldn't actually go to other planets to film and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like C- CGI in that circumstance is understandable. But like I think in some movies it's just unnecessary. I think like I don't know. I look at I'm using Marvel a lot. It's very fresh in my mind right now because I keep watching those movies. But I guess looking at I guess like today I just watched Avengers: Age of Ultron. And it would have been interesting, I think, to me to see some of Ultron not CG'd and actually like a practical effect, like if he was like to make him look a little more real. Because I think that would have been interesting. Of course, I'm not sure how that would have played out in the actual film because they didn't do that, of course. But by doing that, it just like I think could communicate to the story a little more. Oh, okay. Here's a good example. Like Yoda in the Star Wars films.
Oh yeah.
How originally he was a puppet, and then for the prequels they made him CG, and now in the eighth movie, he's back to a puppet, and Baby Yoda's a puppet as well. I think Baby Yoda's a puppet. I That is just really good CG. But anyways, um, I think for that it adds to the character a little more because yes, you can tell the difference between a puppet and CG, but in this case, the puppet to me communicates more of a realistic looking creature rather than CG, which just kind of in the prequels reminded me like of a video game sequence because I could tell, obviously
It's
it's
not real.
yeah.
So
And of
Baby
course
Yoda is a puppet. Or sorry, he is CGI.
he is CGI. Okay.
Yeah.
See, I wasn't sure about that, but I guess that's good CGI. So I guess at the same time as me having brief opinions on this, I'm not really that knowledgeable on it. So
Hmm. I understand. Also, one more thing I would like to note. Did you know in the prequels Yoda used to be a puppet? Like there was a puppet version?
really, I did not know that. So I'm not.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
That's okay, man. So behind every good movie obviously is a good director, right?
hmm
Do you have any favorites?
Ooh, that's a good question. Well, I gotta go with the basic Spielberg.
Hmm.
I originally back when I was getting into cinema and getting into like wanting to do this as a career and stuff like that. I got his book. It's well, somebody made it. Steven Spielberg, a retrospective, and it's just like this giant like book, and it has a bunch of like pictures and stuff, and it tells his story, but then it also has just cool behind the scenes pictures and stuff for each movie that he's made. I think up to like AI or something like that.
That sounds really cool, actually.
Actually, while we're talking about it,
What's your favorite Spielberg movie while you're looking for that?
Spielberg movie. I got to go with probably Raiders.
I'm with you there. I was
In-
about to say if you say anything else than Raiders, man. I don't know. I love Jaws. Jaws was really good.
oh yeah,
For what they did, that was crazy. E.T. Another insane one.
uh, Spielberg's work. But if I had to choose one, I think the team up between Lucas and Spielberg just made that movie all the much better. And actually, I have the book right here. This is a giant book. I got it at like half price books, and it has just various. Oh, look at that, Indiana Jones. I know it's backwards, but it has like full page photos, not full page photos. But I got that back in like I think 7th or 8th grade, and I've read that book probably like I've lost count of how many times I've read that book like cover to cover.
No, that's really cool. I'd read that. I gotta pick that up.
I also like John Hughes. I have another. I won't bother pulling this one out, but I have another book that size on John Hughes. Um,
Favorite
I
John
like
Hughes movie, real quick.
ooh Ferris Bueller.
Okay, I can go with you there.
I go 16 Candles. I did watch it again the other day because I just got it on DVD. And that one is also iconic. I think all of his movies are iconic.
16 Candles is a little racist now,
It is.
but it's
It
hilarious.
Yeah, you're right about that. Some of the humor is definitely a little dated. But yeah, so Spielberg, John Hughes, and then that actually kind of like for me, I like to write as well as direct, and so I really like writers and directors. So I like Hughes because he wrote like almost all of his stuff. And then I like a more current person. I like Ryan Johnson. I think well, yes, I do somewhat blame him for um botching with the like the revamp trilogy of Star Wars. I think if they had given him I don't think that was a fit for him just because he tried to make it too much of his own thing by like derailing what JJ Abrams did, and then JJ Abrams I think had to play pickup. Felt like he had to play pickup during The Last Jedi. Um but I think if they had given Ryan Johnson more of his own like pedestal and like maybe his own trilogy or maybe just his own standalone movie, it would have been a lot better because his vision as a writer director, I really respect that. Like I'm gonna go back to Knives Out just because that movie, in my opinion, is just like that to me should have won best original screenplay because that was like I go back and I read the screenplay in of itself, and it's just oh my gosh, like there are subtle, like the dialogue in that is phenomenal. It's just there's subtle nuances that foreshadow the later events. It's just oh my gosh, and the mystery of itself is just like perfect, and there are just minute details that like even like I mean like there are minute details that are said. I've watched that movie like 8 times. There are minute details that are like said like in one line of dialogue that come into play later, and like it's just and you look back at that and it's just to me that's a good writer director, and
Mhm.
that's what I want to like. That's goals for me.
No, that's good. I mean, I'm gonna be real. I haven't seen the movie.
Mm.
Um,
I highly recommend it.
I had a funny story behind that, but we won't go into that. Um, have you ever looked into Tarantino for writer directors?
I haven't that much. I just uh, as of right now, I haven't actually seen any Tarantino films. I just got in this big haul of movies that my uncle sent me. I think was included Inglorious Bastards, so I'm going to be watching that pretty soon, and I think I'll also watch Pulp Fiction, Kill Bill.
Mm-hmm.
Um, everybody's told me for the longest time that I really should look into Tarantino, and I guess haven't gotten around to it.
I think if you need to learn dialogue, study Tarantino. He's phenomenal, bro.
Mhm.
So you're starting to make movies, right? Have you been making anything during quarantine?
Um, yes and no. I have a lot of ideas all the time, and I write them down. And a lot of them aren't. Oh, excuse me, that's my phone. Let me silence that real quick. Okay.
Or was that Higgs's call?
That was Higgs's. Yeah, Higgs. The text from Higgs. Anyways, where was I? Oh yeah, making stuff. In quarantine, so like I was able to snag one of the broadcast cameras before we went into quarantine.
So you have it. Jeff called me. He was like, "You know where this DSLR is?" I'm like, "I have no clue."
Yeah, I have it. I have it. I thought I told Higgs, but I maybe should shoot her a text.
Nah, it's fine.
Yeah, it's sitting in my room right now somewhere. I've been doing a couple of things with it. So like it's like I've made stuff in the past by myself. Because I guess my family is kind of videoed out because I always ask them to help me film stuff, and they're like my parents are both busy with like my dad, has a big job, and then my mom's in grad school currently teaching remotely, so that's hard for her. And then my sister just is videoed out because I always ask her to help me, and then she doesn't really like to help me. So I've really had to make stuff by myself. So I've made stuff. I've had to scrap a few things. I've been really taking this time to experiment, but also um, I've come up with a few things. I did a little like 4-part acapella with myself. That my that for my mom because she wanted me to. And I'm gonna try another one of those. I've also just been spending this time writing stuff. So like Beastie and the Boys, the current project I've been working on for a while, was supposed to start filming during all this time, but of course can't now. So I've been taking that
Mm.
time to go back and revisit the characters and the story and really get a better grasp and make it a better written movie.
Nice, dude. I really liked the idea. You still gotta send me the script of Beastie and the Boys. I want to read that through.
Oh yeah, I still do. I still do.
You gave me a hard copy, but like I think I left it in the broadcasting room, thinking we would go back to school. But stuff like that happens.
Hmm.
Um, no, I'm just super excited for that. If you guys don't know, Jack here is writing, planning on directing would you say a mockumentary?
Yeah, yeah. I think that's the best terminology for it.
And then called Beastie and the Boys. So definitely something very interesting. But I'm in the same spot you are, Jack, and it's like I had all these movie ideas, but I can't go through with them because we can't, you know,
Hmm.
congregate.
Yeah,
Um,
it's a hard time for sure.
are your parents super like stay homey?
You mean like keeping us at home?
Yeah, like not allowed to leave at all.
Um, kind of. They like me to stay inside, but I've originally for a little while I don't know if you remember the link that Higgs sent you, me, and Taylor to that one video contest for that education thing.
Mm-hmm.
Originally I was going to be spending this week working on a project for that, and for that I had gotten in contact with Weston Edwards to go out and help me film some stuff at a socially acceptable distance. So they would have let me do that, and they let me drive around when I need to and go outside to like skate around and stuff as long as I'm not getting close to people. But then like they don't they if I'm yeah they just don't like me to be around people for sure.
No, I'm
Yeah.
with you, dude. Like I'm the same way.
Mhm.
Um, the reason why I asked this is because I don't know if you've ever thought of going out and shooting a solo video, like just a movie.
Ooh, that would be interesting. I haven't actually thought of that.
It would have been tough, and that's something I've been thinking about a lot. It's just finding a story to tell with just you and the lack of being able to, I guess, move the camera because you're in front of the camera, not behind it, is
Mhm.
super tough.
Oh yeah, that's a difficult one. I've especially last year, I didn't really have a lot of people to make movies with, so I'd make a lot of solo stuff myself. But it was definitely very limited in my usage, and in order to make it less limited, I I would it would be a lot difficult, like more difficult. But actually, recently I've come up with a few methods of things that I'm going to try pretty soon here. That could possibly like still be cool and don't actually have to have me in it. Potentially, that was part of the project that Weston was going to help me film myself for.
Do you want to leak a little bit of it, or like
Yeah.
is this hush hush?
Oh yeah, no, I can leak a little bit of it.
What's your plans here? Because you're being super vague. I didn't know where you're going with that.
um, okay, so for a while I've had this concept in my head that I've wanted to try a couple of things with, and originally I was going to do it for an intro for broadcast, and I still might do that. And then after that, I was thinking of doing it for the video project that Higgs sent us. And then I decided I would only have like 10 days to do that, and I needed to basically take 3,600 photos, and that wasn't really possible. So now I just kind of have this idea, and I'm going to do something with it. I'm not sure what. And I've never tried anything like this before.
No, I haven't. I haven't seen that yet.
Okay, well, let's see. There's a credit sequence. The credit sequence in that is like, I don't have anything else to compare it to. I mean, I can compare it to a Weird Al music video, but I'm not sure if
You said a bunch of pictures. Is it like stop motion with humans?
It is stop motion without humans, and it's not
Oh.
Lego stop motion. It's like basically, I guess I could call it collage stop motion,
Mm-hmm.
where it's like
I can look it up real quick.
I'm not sure if here, look up for you to really understand it. Look up Weird Al lame claim to fame.
Lame claim to fame. All right, I'll watch this. But do you want to keep explaining it?
Yeah. So basically, it takes aspects of like paper, pencils.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. So basically, it takes paper, is the biggest aspect of it, and it puts it down on a page, and then it animates the paper, doing various things. It's really hard to explain, and it would be a lot easier if I could show you an example. So for other people watching this, look up Weird Al's lame claim to fame music video, or the credit sequence for Spider-Man Far From Home is another great example. It's where, like, I don't know, papers move around, I guess, and they're animated on the table and stuff, and they're different. I mean, there's different more than just paper and stuff. It's really hard to explain, and I've been this is one of those things where, like, you can't really find a tutorial video for. So I'm going into this completely in the dark. I have somewhere around my room, I have a legal pad that I've been planning. The original project was an intro for KNet, which I still am probably going to make, but I have like the legal pad somewhere that lists out, like, I did the math and I calculated at 12 frames per second, like how many frames I needed for like a 30-second video, stuff like that. And then, I divided it up between various things I wanted to include on the page, and like how many pictures I would need for those specific things to show, and then how many pictures I'd need to transition from one thing to another. It's definitely, I don't know if this is making sense to people, but it's
It's a task.
Yeah, it's a thing. It's gonna take me a while. I have actually, I'm sitting in it right now. I have a little corner in my room, like quarantined off. I have like a chair sitting here, so I'm like quarantined in quarantine. I have this, and my corner back here, I have all the stuff I need. I have like the paper and note cards down there. I have a bunch of construction paper. I have a pillow that I cut open that has fabric in it. I have some molding clay. I have pencils, pens, markers, you name it, I have it.
So that's why you posted the other day that you're going to be sitting there for a long time, for a while.
Yep.
Oh,
that is true. Yeah.
The best way I could describe that is just South Park animation style.
Yeah, I think that's probably the best. That's actually a good comparison. Yeah, South Park animation style, with a couple of real world aspects thrown in,
like your arms and stuff.
Yeah, other than just pictures, my arms, clay. I haven't seen much South Park, so I don't know how much of this is actually incorporated in that.
I don't think the new episodes do this. But like the first episode, like the Christmas one, was all paper and exactly what you're like describing.
Yeah. So that's kind of what I'm going for. Definitely combined with other things, clay, paper clips, pencils, pens will be in there sometimes. it's gonna give off a school vibe. Like I have a composition notebook I'll be working in, stuff like that. So um, hopefully that turns out well. I've never tried anything like this before, so it's gonna be completely. I'm going in this in the dark. There's no, like I said, I can't really find a tutorial video on how to make something like this. To this specific thing. So I'm trying. It's all an experiment. And I guess that's one thing I like about quarantine, is it gives me time to do this without consequences, because as long as I'm staying kept up with my schoolwork, which there isn't much of, thankfully, I can take this time that I normally wouldn't necessarily have, to try something like this and to try to master these skills, to be able to rely on and trust that I am able to do this, once we're out of quarantine, stuff like that.
For sure, dude. That sounds sick. Actually, that's really cool.
Thank you.
Where was I going with this? Oh, you're a fellow LaCroix drinker.
Oh yeah, yep.
I have a bunch of questions with that. When did you start drinking LaCroix?
When did I start drinking LaCroix?
Yeah.
Well, I can remember back to when I was like 4 or 5. My dad drank it when I was younger a lot. And at first I remember like despising it, tasting it's like, oh, this is just salad but in a drink. So it definitely wasn't something I enjoyed. I think I probably started liking it around the same time I wanted to start being a director, ironically enough. 7th or 8th grade was really when I started drinking it. We didn't, like, I would have to go out and buy it myself. We didn't probably start having it in the house, except back when I was way younger and I didn't like it. We probably didn't start having it in the house until last year, sophomore year for me, 10th grade. And now my dad goes to Costco and he buys the bulk packs of, like, not just LaCroix, but he buys other sparkling waters too, like Bubbly, Aha, I think is one of them. Trader Joe's brand sparkling water. So like I drink a lot of sparkling water, but LaCroix is definitely my favorite for sure.
And what's your favorite flavor, man?
Ooh, that is a good question. I think I got to go with classic lime.
Yeah, that is a solid flavor. Well, Jack, I enjoyed having you on today, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I had a fun time. I hope I covered all the bases you want me to cover.
Oh, don't worry, man. We need to get another one of these going with more opinionated people, and what we need to do is just debate out certain aspects and topics.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a blast talking to you, man. I'm glad I have another fellow cinephile that just loves cinema as much as I do. I know I try talking about movies with so many other people, and they're like, I haven't seen that. But
yeah, it's definitely a bit of an acquired taste at times, for sure.
Yep. Well, you have a great day, man. I can't wait to see your animation that you're doing.
Yeah, thank you. I hope you have a good day too.
Yeah, stay safe, buddy, and keep washing your hands.
All right.
See you later, Jack.
Take care.
And that was the fantastic Jack Kankiewicz. He actually, every day in broadcasting, I'm going to miss this, man. One of those little things in school you never think about. He would bring me a can of LaCroix every single day, and I never asked him to. I tell him don't bring it because I feel so bad because he's bringing it. But he would bring me a LaCroix every single day, so I feel like once this quarantine business is done, I'll have to drop by his house with like 5 cases of LaCroix or something. I don't know. I still feel bad. He's always one of those people that are willing to help you with any video, any project you have. And he's a fellow ambitious filmmaker, I'm just so glad I can call him a friend, and I'm glad I got to talk to him today. But definitely some other time we'll need to have more people on where we can just talk about all sorts of things regarding movies and then just battle it out, because I think the thing with movies is you have to have a discussion when it comes to movies, and it's difficult when you just have one person and you like see eye to eye with them. Me and Jack are very much the same when it comes to like our interests and likes when it comes to cinema and films and stuff like that. But yeah, so just answering a couple questions that I asked him. My favorite movies, definitely Raiders is one of my favorite movies. 16 Candles is one of my favorite movies of all time. The Godfather, that's a classic. Godfather 2. I watched 2001 for the first time. Crazy, crazy movie. I think one of my favorite movies of all time would have to be Once Upon a Time in Hollywood by Quentin Tarantino. Um, as much as that movie let me down the first day I watched it, the second time I watched it, it was much better once I understood the history behind what was going on. It was much better. I just never wanted to like I'm one of those people that I'll see a trailer but I won't watch it because I want to go in the movie like with a blank mind. I don't want to think about, oh, this was in the trailer, what implications does this have? I know I learned that was like Star Wars and a bunch of other movies that if you watch these trailers, excuse me, this is what I get for drinking LaCroix. When you watch the trailers and then watch the movie, half the movie's already spoiled with the trailer. So I just literally stopped watching trailers, and I think that enhanced my movie viewing experience. So that's my Trev tip to all of you guys, and just don't watch the trailers anymore, man. But that Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is probably one of my favorite movies of all time. Very slow, very methodical, but the story's so interesting. Everything that goes on is so interesting. Plus, I just love the '60s, so it was perfect. Let's see, Paradise, Parasite. I watched that. Excellent movie. I would say that is very comparable to like a Hitchcock. Like it just kind of builds up, builds up, builds up, and then you don't know where the movie's going. And that major twist in the middle of it was crazy. It had me going crazy. So I thought that was very, very what's the word? It was unique to see an actor, not an actor, a director do something like that. And then another great movie I really like is the movie Breathless. I want to keep saying this movie, Breathless by Jean-Luc Godard. Um, One of my favorite movies. It just the style is so unmatched that I couldn't describe it. It's definitely French New Wave, and it's just different. It's not like any movie I've ever seen before. So I'm definitely glad I'm able to say that. And that's definitely a director I would say I get a lot of inspiration from. Him and Tarantino. I just really like their movies, and they're just so enjoyable to watch. Even though like the Jean-Luc Godard movies, they're in all French. I have to read all the subtitles, but it's still a fascinating way to tell a story. The way he cuts and the way he uses music, just all the elements he uses are just super fascinating. Yeah, when coming directors, much the same. Spielberg, Lucas, American Graffiti is another one of my favorite movies. Kubrick, love Kubrick movies. I have that Kubrick mentality where everything has to be perfect, and if it's not perfect, I feel bad unless it's a project where I really don't have a passion for. Like a lot of my photography assignments, if it's not perfect, it's like whatever. But like if it's a broadcasting assignment and I mess up once or my hair is off just a little bit, I retake it no matter what. Or if I just flub a line just by a word, I'm retaking it just because it has to be perfect in my opinion. Because why would you do something that you love and halfway do it? You know, that just doesn't make sense to me. Tarantino, Spielberg, who am I missing? I don't know. Hitchcock. I've been watching a lot of Hitchcock lately. Great directors. Oh, and John Hughes. He's probably one of my biggest inspirations. You know, his movies are very, very just simple, and I think that's what makes them unique. Sure, there's like great pieces in it, like in Ferris Bueller when they have the parade scene. But I think all his movies and the way he just tells the story is just very. It appeals to kids like me, you know, and it's perfect. And I've been actually last year around this time I was working on this movie, Planners. It's a movie. It's a screenplay I wrote, direct, and I was planning on directing it last summer. Then I went into Europe. I went on my Europe trip, made Europe the movie, 2 hour long, epic, where I travel 7 countries in the not in the United States, in the world. I guess you can really count it as a feature film, even though it wasn't intended to be feature film. Whenever we signed up for the tour, there was this EF film competition kind of thing where you're supposed to submit like I think they were expecting like a 5-minute video, and you get $500 in camera supplies and just utilities. And I was like, oh, right on, man, I'll do this. And then I didn't want to just do a sit down where I talk to the camera and just talk about my story. I wanted to show the story. So I made a vlog. I vlogged the entire trip, and then after I made all my individual vlogs, I cut all the vlogs together, and it ended up being about 2 hours long. Something I really want to sit down and just watch and enjoy and really critique myself when it comes to my filmmaking abilities. But it's so depressing now because like we're trapped at home, and I'm not even going to Europe like I was supposed to this summer, and that was something I've been really looking forward to. But I was gonna vlog that too. Maybe just take pictures of that. I didn't really know what I was gonna do. Haven't really decided, but I guess I don't have to decide now. But yeah, I think it would just make me really sad, and I wouldn't want to like do anything. So I've been watching, movies every single day, trying to get my mind off of what's going on in the scenario. On the bright side, it's getting warmer here in KC. But yeah. Anyways, going back to that story, I completely lost my train of thought. I'm not gonna lie, I was just kind of rambling. But what I was gonna do is after summer or after my Europe trip, I was going to go film the rest of this video. And the movie's not too difficult. It has like 4 or 5 maybe scenes, and sets, and it's like a pool, the lake, someone's house, and then someone's backyard. And it was like super easy. Not a lot. There's 50-page script, so it was a really big script. I was planning on it to be like just a feature length film, and it was just going to be like a risky business kind of movie. That's another great movie I take inspiration from. And I had everything set out. I had all my actors in line. I had all my shooting dates in line. But it comes around that time, and then it's like I could either be chilling by the pool, or I could be wasting my friends' times making this movie that no one will probably watch. Granted, if I made the movie, I probably had different opinions. I think the biggest obstacle I had with planners, and this is just me saying what I think I made my mistake on, was too big of a script and relying on high schoolers, because I mean, I'm not reliable when it comes to coming on certain dates or replying to emails or doing stuff like that. But definitely when it comes to in the summertime, and with how my schedule was laid out, it was so difficult to make that movie because I'd wake up at 8, all my friends would sleep until noon, and then I had to work at 5, and I'd be leaving about 4:15 to go to work. So I had about 4 hours to do whatever. Well, when all my friends wake up at noon, I wasn't able to, do anything in those early mornings. And then there was no way in the world I was going to make all my friends wake up that early, and then go film a movie, like it's a great idea on paper, and I had work at the time, but maybe once they ease off restrictions, be a smaller group than 10, I could work with a production, and maybe I can get a movie done before I go into college. Really, I wanted that movie to be my resume builder, but it happens. But yeah, it's not a very difficult piece. I just needed it to go through. Dialogue was meant to be changed. I should really start going through that again. That'd be an interesting piece. I started storyboarding every shot. Not a good idea in my opinion. That's so much work and a lot of work, but I think it's something necessary to do, especially when you're trying to visualize something. But yeah, that's cinema, and that's basically like just my story, and what inspirations I have at this moment. So to talk about what I've been doing, excuse me, we've been going on for almost an hour now. I've just been doing the same thing. Yesterday I was super unmotivated when it came to school, so I didn't do anything, and the next thing I knew it was 6 p.m. So I finished my multiple choice. I did my calculus homework. I did my photography assignment. We're doing light painting, so that's very exciting. I found out that I got a Valorant key, so that was super hyped. I actually freaked out whenever I found out I had a Valorant key, so I was actually super hyped. So I downloaded Valorant, played 2 games last night, fell asleep, and then this morning I woke up at about 7:15, laid in bed until about 8, got up, did my workout, made a breakfast burrito and a smoothie. Dude, I had a weirdest smoothie ever. It was mango, banana, peanut butter, fruit punch protein powder mixed with chocolate mint protein powder, and then I mixed in coffee with that, and it was a different flavor. At the Norterre, they have this coffee espresso smoothie, and it slaps. Apparently not with mango and banana. I wouldn't try that. Wouldn't recommend it. But it was good. I got my coffee take and my protein intake, so that was great. And then I'm doing this podcast. I also found out that my Razer Death Adder V2 is coming in today, so I'm super excited about that. If you don't know what that is, it's a gaming mouse that has buttons on the sides. We're playing so many games now. It's something to keep me entertained, to keep me motivated. I've also been trying to weigh my options when it comes to what I should do regarding computers in college. I think I'm starting to narrow it down. At first, I was just going to get like a gaming laptop that I can edit on, play video games on, and do all my schoolwork on. But then I figured, why don't I just get like a MacBook Air and then build a computer, which would be cheaper essentially, and I could upgrade at any time. But I'm just still trying to weigh my options. I don't know how Mizzou's journalism program is, especially when it comes to editing videos. Heck, I don't even know if I'll be taking a journalism class my freshman year. I guess we'll only find out as time progresses, but I'm going to ask a couple people some questions. I heard the MacBook Pro is fantastic at even just like special effects and stuff. But I'll have to ask around, ring up a couple people. If you know anybody, send me an email. My email is in the information box on my YouTube channel. But yeah, thanks for indulging with me on my cinema binge. That is definitely something I'd absolutely love to talk about, and that's movies. If there's one person you count on when it comes to movies, probably, I don't want to say me. I don't want to flex like that. But I love movies so much, and I could watch them all day, all night, tell you everything, every little detail about a movie. Oddly enough, I don't watch some of these like more mainstream movies other people watch, like Step Brothers. I've never seen that. I've heard it's really funny. Just I don't see that as cinema. It's definitely something different. But that was cinema. We got the headlines done, and you guys know what I'm doing for today. So yeah, that's about it. It's going to be the way it is for a while. Keep washing your hands, and until next time, I'll catch you on the north side.